Chapter 11. 100-year, Old Polygonum multiflorum. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 11. 100-year, Old Polygonum multiflorum. His illness had always been an anxiety to him, which denied him the interest in life. He had never expected that his illness would be magically cured today. I can't take that much. I'll just choose a few. Qin Haodong took a bag from the stall. He put the 100-year Old Polygonum multiflorum and other needed medicinal materials into the bag. Sorry, buddy. I misunderstood you just now. I was too ignorant to recognize your ability. The vendor scratched his head with embarrassment. It's nothing. Qin Haodong waved his hand and then went ahead to the wholesale market. He looked at the bag in his hand, which was not heavy but still was a burden to him. If only there was a storage ring. He had a ring which was big enough to accommodate a mountain in Cultivation World, but unfortunately, the ring was blown up into powder by thunder of 9 heavens. Qin Haodong sighed and walked into the medicinal materials wholesale market with the bag. The shops here were very large, far larger than the retail stalls outside, but the ginseng of hundreds of years old belonged to the rare medicinal materials. He went to more than a dozen shops and did not find it. A kind-hearted shopkeeper said to him, "Buddy, if you want to buy this rare medicinal material, you can only go to Shenong Pavilion. They sell wild medicinal materials, among which many are vintages. If Shenong Pavilion can't offer what you want, then I can only say that you can't buy them here." After expressing his thanks, Qin Haodong made his way to the biggest shop in the market, according to the instruction of the shopkeeper. Coming to the front of Shenong Pavilion, he couldn't help admiring in the heart. It was indeed the largest shop in the market. The strong aroma of herbs greeted him as he went through the door. Above the broad gate of the shop hanged a huge gold-plated plaque with 2 large words, Shenong Pavilion, which looked like dragons flying and phoenixes dancing. The shop was very busy with people coming and going. Qin Haodong slipped around and found that medicinal herbs here had indeed more spiritual qi than those in other shops. They were obviously picked in the wild, not artificially cultivated. He was just about to ask the salesman if there were any ginseng medicines of more than 100 years when several people entered Shenong Pavilion. At the front was a tall old man. Although his hair and beard were gray, he had an uncommon demeanor, and an irresistible aura of battlefield came from him. Qin Haodong could feel keenly that the old man had to be a soldier in the past and was not an ordinary soldier. Next to the old man was a tall young woman with ponytail braids. Her appearance was comparable to that of Lin Momo, and her whole body was full of heroic spirit. Behind the old man and the beautiful woman stood 2 tall young men with the same demeanor, who seemed to be bodyguards. Seeing these people, Qin Haodong felt a slight movement in his heart. He sensed the fluctuation of internal qi keenly from the old man and the young women, who were unexpectedly warriors. This was the first time he had felt the warrior's aura after his rebirth, and he could not help paying more attention to them. Hardly had the old man entered the door when the waiter who had accompanied Qin Haodong rushed to meet him and politely said, "Your Honor, here you are." The old man nodded and said, "Has the medicine I ordered arrived yet?" "Yes, please go to the VIP lounge to have a rest first, and I'll get it for you." The waiter led the old man and others to the VIP room, then turned to the warehouse, and quickly came out with a big red brocade box. Qin Haodong's pupils shrank sharply at the sight of the big red brocade box. He felt a rich sense of spiritual qi which was much stronger than the 100-year Old Polygonum multiflorum in his pocket. This was a centuries-old medicine of more than 100 years. It looked like it should be 400 or 500 years old. After making a preliminary judgment in his mind, Qin Haodong followed the waiter to the door of the VIP room to see what treasures were in the box. The waiter came to the old man with the big red brocade box and said, "Your Honor, this is the vintage medicine we found with all our social resources. It's a genuine 500-year old treasure. You can't buy it anywhere else. Please have a careful look." Then he opened the lid of the brocade box, and a bloody ginseng appeared in front of the old man. With stronger spiritual chi drifted out, Qin Haodong marveled in his heart that this was blood ginseng whose age was absolutely over 500 years. Although this thing was inferior to those best treasures in the cultivation world, it was absolutely a rare thing on earth that was hard to get even with thousands of dollars. At this time, the old man put on a pair of white gloves to carefully pick up the ginseng in the brocade box. After examining it for a long time, he exclaimed, "Treasure, real treasure." The woman with a ponytail next to him said, "Grandpa, does it mean your illness can be cured?" "Well, it should work." The old man nodded satisfactorily, and his eyes revealed an irrepressible joy. The salesman said, "Your Honor, you can rest assured. This ginseng of 500 years old is a good thing to save lives. Legend has it that dead people can be saved with it. All the diseases can be cured immediately." The old man said, "How is the price of this ginseng? Did the boss tell you?" "Yes, yes. Before going out for business, he specifically told me that you're the distinguished guest of Shenong Pavilion, so, this ginseng should be charged at the lowest price. With 10,000 yuan for per year, it only costs 5 million yuan. 5 million yuan was supposed to be a high price for a medicinal herb, but the old man didn't even frown a bit. He turned his head to the woman and said, "Shuang Shuang, pay the money." The woman with the ponytail said yes. Then she took out a checkbook and wrote a check of 5 million yuan to the waiter. The waiter glanced at the check, then politely said to the old man, "Your Honor, thanks for your patronage. You are welcome to come back later." Deal. The old man carefully put the ginseng back into the brocade box and was about to leave with the box when he heard a voice coming from the door, "Gentlemen, this ginseng is good. How about giving it to me?" A little stunned, the old man looked up at the door and saw a young man in his 20s come in. The ponytail woman's face hardened, and with her beautiful apricot eyes staring at Qin Haodong, she said, "Who are you? Who let you in?" Qin Haodong did not care about being questioned. He smiled and said, "It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that this ginseng should be given to me." The ponytail woman replied indignantly, "Are you out of your mind? Get out of here." The salesman also figured that this strange person was insane. How could the medicinal materials with a price of 5 million yuan be handed over to you? He went up and said, "This gentleman, if you want to buy medicine, please go outside and don't disturb our distinguished guests." Qin Haodong ignored the salesman and directly said, "The old man, sir, I am saving you. Give me this ginseng, you can save your life, otherwise, you should go home and prepare for your funeral." Everyone in the room became astonished at what he had said. The woman with ponytail shouted furiously, "Get out of here." After roaring, she stepped on her right foot, intended to punch Qin Haodong in the face. It's not good for girls to use violence, thinking about your marriage in the future. Qin Haodong steered by the punch with a light smile, and then he said to the old man, "Sir, if you listen to me for a few words, you will definitely like to give me this ginseng plant." The old man raised his hand to stop the ponytail woman beside him. He said to Qin Haodong with great interest, "Young man, why should I give you such a good medicine?" Qin Haodong answered, "Because if you don't give me this ginseng, your life will be in danger." The old man's face changed slightly. "Young man, are you threatening me?" Between words, a huge momentum surged out of the old man whose fierce and decisiveness as a superior and iron-blooded soldier shone through. But Qin Haodong still didn't care. He said with a relaxed face, "Threat is out of the question. I think your lungs have been injured. Did you buy this ginseng for treatment?" The old man surprisingly asked, "How did you know that?" Qin Haodong smiled and said, "I am a doctor and I can see it naturally." The ponytail girl said, "Grandpa, don't listen to this liar's nonsense. He must have heard us just now." The old man nodded slightly and felt that his granddaughter was right. They did mention the use of ginseng to treat injuries in their conversation just now. Qin Haodong did not take it seriously at all. With 2 steps forward, he said, "Your lungs were once shot, but the treatment was timely and the recovery was good. It would be nothing if you lived a normal life. But you are a warrior, and the attribute of your cultivation is cold, which causes the injured part of the lungs be blocked. The further you cultivate, the more serious the injury will be. Air. The old man's face suddenly changed greatly. The young man in front of him was right. The more advanced he was in these years, the more serious his injury was. He did not get any better although he had went everywhere for treatment. The girl snapped at Qin Haodong, "Who on earth are you? Who sent you here?" As soon as she uttered these words, the two young men behind her became nervous, and their right hand involuntarily rested on the hidden bulging waist. "Don't be so nervous," I said, "I'm just a doctor." Qin Haodong laughed at the ponytail girl and then continued to say to the old man, "Your injury has been more serious recently. When it gets the coldest time at midnight, you cough a lot, sometimes with bloody sputum, and you can't sleep well. You can only be a little better when the yang qi is heavy at noon." The old man raised his hand to stop the nervous ponytail girl and the two young people behind her. "Let the little buddy go on talking." Qin Haodong continued with a severe countenance. "After decades of lung injuries, coupled with the daily cold affection of martial skills, the blockage of meridians has become very serious, and ordinary medicine can't treat your illness. With an age of more than 500 years, this ginseng is full of medicinal power. Once the blocked lung meridian cannot be cleared, it will cause tremendous pressure on other meridians, and the first one to be hit is the heart meridian. So I was not intimidating you, sir. I just want to bring home to you the fact that if you take this ginseng rashly, you will definitely die within an hour." Chapter 12. Bossy Toy Boy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 12. Bossy Toy Boy, Air. After Qin Haodong said that, a chill rose from the old man's heart. At the same time, he had a little doubt, so he asked, "Little buddy, forgive me for presumption, but how do you know that?" What Qin Haodong said was totally true and organized. He had believed most of it. However, he was very surprised that the young man had not taken his pulse, nor had he given him any treatment. How could he speak so clearly about his physical condition? "I am a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine adopts 4 ways of diagnosis, namely looking, listening, questioning and feeling the pulse, and I just used the way of looking." "Grandpa, don't listen to his nonsense," said the woman with the ponytail. "There isn't any Chinese medicine doctor that is so young, and even if he is a traditional Chinese doctor, he can't reach the level of looking diagnosis. Even the medical master Zhang Tianhe needs to take your pulse when making a diagnosis, let alone a small doctor like him." "Small doctor? Where do you think I'm small?" Qin Haodong laughed at the girl and said, "If I told you that Zhang Tianhe once tried to apprentice himself to me but I refused, would you believe it?" "Full of nonsense, how could Master Zhang apprentice to you? It's more plausible that you apprenticed to him." The woman with the ponytail then turned her head and said to the old man, "Grandpa, I think this man has ulterior motives. He must have inquired about your condition in advance and came here to deceive us. Otherwise, how could he appear just when we are buying ginseng? What a coincidence." "You mean I'm a swindler?" Qin Haodong asked. "Isn't that obvious? You are a swindler and a stupid one. Do you think you can deceive us by inquiring my grandpa's illness from other sources? You wish." The woman said with great certainty. "Since you confirmed that I had inquired about your grandfather's illness, I'd like to say something that can't be inquired," Qin Haodong said, with his eyes rapidly surveying the woman. What are you going to do?" The woman with the ponytail was a little nervous for no reason. She was always fearless, but the young man brought her a kind of pressure that she never had before. "When you were 13 years old, you had your first menstruation, but because of the cold nature of your family's martial cultivation, the amount of bleeding was not much. Since last year, you began to experience abdominal pain and blood clot spills during menstruation. Today is the 3rd day of your menstruation. You must have had abdominal pain and taken brown sugar water to drive the cold, right? Ha! The woman with ponytail looked at Qin Haodong's face in horror. What she didn't even say to her parents was clearly known by the young man in front of her. Was he a devil? How about it? Am I right? Or do you still think I've inquired about it? Qin Haodong said with a grin. Bastard. The woman blushed as she was shocked. How could such a thing be inquired? She was so bashful and angry, but she could not vent herself. Therefore, she stepped aside and stopped talking. At this time, the old man had seen that Qin Haodong, with such amazing medical skill, was by no means an ordinary person. As a decisive person, he immediately made a decision. Little buddy, I was too blind to recognize you, sorry for having offended you just now. He took up the big red box on the table and sent it to Qin Haodong. Little magic doctor, thank you for saving my life. This ginseng is just a little token to show my respect to you. Please accept it. Qin Haodong took the box without hesitation and thought, the old man had good luck today. He happened to encounter me. Otherwise, he would really lose his life. So it is natural for me to accept the ginseng. The salesman next to him was muddled. Who was this young man? With only a few words in less than 3 minutes, he took away the ginseng that worth 5 million yuan, which was even offered with both hands. The old man said in all smiles, my name is Nailan Jia, this is my granddaughter Nailan Wushuang. May I have your name, please? My name is Qin Haodong. Nailan Jia added, little magic doctor, please help me to see what my condition is now. Qin Haodong said, your lung meridian stagnation has reached a very serious level, and now there are symptoms of cough with bloody sputum. If you do not get effective treatment, you can only live for 3 months. 3 months. Even though Nailan Jia was no longer concerned about life and death, he couldn't help but feel lost when he heard that he had only 3 months to live. Nailan Wushuang no longer suspected Qin Haodong at this time. She went forward and urgently said, Dr. Qin, please, save my grandpa. As long as you can cure my grandpa's illness, I will satisfy you whatever you ask for. Qin Haodong gave her a meaningful look, which made her blush again. She realized what she said was ambiguous and easy to arouse reverie. She hurried to add, I mean, no matter how much money you want, my family can satisfy you. Although Nailan Wushuang had corrected her ambiguous words, Qin Haodong couldn't help looking at her for a while longer. He had to admit that her figure was quite attractive despite her shrewish personality. Without distracting thoughts now, Nailan Wushuang looked at Qin Haodong eagerly and expected his answer. Since fate made us to meet, I'll help you this time. Qin Haodong said lightly. Little magic doctor, do you mean that you can cure my illness? Nailan Jia asked in surprise. Qin Haodong laughed and said, since you have called me little magic doctor, won't it break my reputation if I couldn't cure your illness? Great, little magic doctor. When can you start to cure me? Nailan Jia asked eagerly. You have too much cold in your body now, in this case, the treatment won't be very effective. Well, I'll write you a prescription with which you can buy all the medicines, and then you go back to take a medicated bath for 12 hours. I'll go back to dredge your meridians early tomorrow morning after your body's cold have been emptied. Then Qin Haodong wrote a prescription and handed it to Nailan Jia, giving him the instructions of the medicated bath. Medicines are a piece of cake since they can be bought in Shenong Pavilion, Nailan Jia said, handing the prescription to the servant next to him, asking him to fill the prescription. Then he said to Qin Haodong, little magic doctor, you are also here to buy medicine. If you need anything, you can take them here. I'll pay for you. Qin Haodong said in secret that the old man was quite capable of buttering up others. He just needed to buy the medicines for the making of marrow cleansing pill and qi nourishing pill. Now he could get them all at once in Shenong Pavilion. After buying the medicinal materials, Nailan Jia went back to have a medicine bath eagerly, with 2 bodyguards followed. Nailan Wushuang had to undertake the mission to drive Qin Haodong home. Following Nalan Wushuang to a red Hummer, Qin Haodong said in secret, "This girl is really fiery. She has got such a powerful Hummer while other girls usually get a sports car or something. Where are we going to?" After boarding the car, Nalan Wushuang asked. "Find a good hotel and get a room." Qin Haodong's words sent Nalan Wushuang's hands a shock when she had just started the car, which nearly led it to the collision with the guardrail next to them. "What did you say? Who's going to get a room with you?" Nalan Wushuang cried with shame and anger. Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Didn't you just say that as long as I can cure your grandfather's illness, you can satisfy all my requirements? If you can't cure my grandpa, I'll kill you." Nalan Wushuang then stamped on the accelerator, and the Hummer rushed forward in the fiery roar of the motor. "What does it mean?" She just agreed. Now it was Qin Haodong's turn to be confused. He was just kidding. Did this girl really want to get a room with him? Soon, the Hummer pulled up in front of a 5-star hotel, and they went to the reception together. Qin Haodong looked at the furious Nalan Wushuang and said, "Don't hesitate. Hurry up and get a room. Can't you do it yourself?" Nalan Wushuang said sulkily. "I don't have money." Qin Haodong said boldly. "You." Nalan Wushuang suppressed her anger because the man in front of her was the hope of curing her grandpa's illness. She picked up a bank card from her bag and flapped it on the reception. The receptionist looked at Qin Haodong with strange eyes, as he had never seen a toy boy live off a woman being so bossy. Soon the room was booked, and Nalan Wushuang went into the room with Qin Haodong. After the door closed, she became nervous immediately. Does this guy really want to do that with me? If he threatens me with grandpa's illness, should I submit or resist? If I resist, will he not treat grandpa? She thought. Just as she was struggling in her mind, Qin Haodong turned around and said, "Why are you still here? This is my room. You don't want to stay here, do you?" What do you mean?" Nalan Wushuang stunned for a while. "Miss, I mean I want to get a room, not we get a room. I take you here only because I don't have money. Now I have got my room and I have things to do. You can go now." Seeing Nalan Wushuang's dull expression, a glimmer of complacency flashed through Qin Haodong's face. He said, "Do you really covet my charming body? I have to tell you, I'm not a casual person. You bastard." With cheeks turning into crimson, Nalan Wushuang stamped her feet and turned her head to run out of the door. "Wait a minute!" Qin Haodong cried before she went out. Nalan Wushuang immediately became nervous again. She replied, "You said I should go, you can't regret now." "Did I say that I regret? It's just I don't have money for lunch. Leave me some money." Now Qin Haodong had nothing but the coin in his pocket. Nalan Wushuang grabbed a handful of money from her bag and slapped it on the table beside, running away like a criminal. Qin Haodong looked at her back and smiled. Then he took the medicinal materials from the bag and began to make medicine. Nalan Wushuang ran out of the room, leaning in a hidden corner and gasping. "Asshole! How dare you play with me?" she scolded in her heart. She was always the one to play with men. Now she had been played with, for the first time. First, she was relieved that Qin Haodong didn't make that kind of demand on her, but then there was a slight disappointment in her. I am so pretty, why didn't this guy make that demand? Is it because I'm not attractive? Normally, there were as many men around her as flies, who worshipped her as their goddess, but today she was driven out by Qin Haodong, which made Nalan Wushuang, who had always been arrogant, somewhat unconvinced. After some indignation, she left the hotel. Qin Haodong began to be occupied in the room. Chapter 13. Marrow, Cleansing Pill. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Chapter 13. Marrow, Cleansing Pill. The reason why Qin Haodong came here to get a room was to refine the pills. As a gift to his daughter, it was inconvenient if he went to the Lin family to refine the marrow, cleansing pill. As for the villa number 6 given by Lin Ziyuan, he didn't know where it was now, so the most suitable place was the hotel. As the Emperor Green wood, these low-grade pills were easy for him to refine. All he needed to do was to extract the essence of various medicinal herbs and make pills. An hour later, 12 crystal clear marrow cleansing pills and 9 qi. Nourishing pills were placed on the hotel's tea table. The time was still early. There were a few hours before Tang Tang could leave school. After simply eating the meal he ordered in the hotel, Qin Haodong began to practice and improve his cultivation. Although the spiritual qi on earth was poor, with the support of qi. Nourishing pills, his breakthrough on cultivation would become much simpler to make. After continuously swallowing 3 qi. Nourishing pills, Qin Haodong heard a crackle sound, as if something had been broken, and then he felt the genuine qi in his body was like the water of Yangtze River flowing on without stopping. What's more, it was more than twice as powerful as before. Qin Haodong opened his eyes and found that his cultivation was in the late stage of the qi. Refining realm, which was still a short step away from the foundation realm. It seemed that cultivation on the earth would only rely on pills, but the blood ginseng and the 100-year-old Polygonum multiflorum cost more than 6 million yuan. With some other auxiliary medicines, he almost spent 7 million yuan. The cost was indeed high. I have to hurry up and make more money, so that I can improve my cultivation speed. Looking at the time, he checked out of the hotel and rushed to the Lin family's villa. Lin's guards had already been told by Lin Ziyuan that they could let Qin Haodong directly enter the hall if they saw him. Dr. Magic. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Tang Tang, like a happy little swallow, rushing to him. Qin Haodong reached out and picked up Tang Tang for rounding in several circles and then hugged her in his arms. The little girl giggled, then she kissed on Qin Haodong's neck, and said, "Dr. Magic, I really miss you." Lin Momo looked at the side with secret jealousy. She thought that she had raised her daughter for so many years, but she was closer to an outsider than to her. Lin Ziyuan smiled and said, "Dr. Qin, Tang Tang clamored for you when she came back from kindergarten. Fortunately, you come in time, otherwise she is going to roll back the roof of the house. She is indeed close to me." Qin Haodong felt that the time was right. "Mr. Lin," he said, "I want to make Tang Tang my sworn daughter. I've already discussed it with Miss Lin. What do you think?" "Of course, that's good." Lin Ziyuan was very delighted to hear that. He was thinking about how to make a closer relationship with Qin Haodong. Now with the relationship of Tang Tang, they could be as close as one family. "What's a sworn daughter, Dr. Magic?" the little fellow asked curiously. "From now on, you are my daughter and I am your father," Qin Haodong seriously said. "Mommy, is that true?" The little fellow turned her head and looked at Lin Momo. Although Lin Momo was a little dissatisfied that Qin Haodong said father rather than sworn father, she saw the eager in the little guy's eyes, and finally nodded her head. "Bravo! Bravo! Tang Tang has a papa. Tang Tang has a papa." After getting her mother's approval, the little guy immediately got excited, and jumped from Qin Haodong's arms to the ground, then she took his hand and said, "Papa, take me to kindergarten." "It's so late, why do you want to go to kindergarten?" Lin Momo asked in a wondering tone. "I want to tell my classmates, I have a father, and I'm not a wild child." When Qin Haodong saw this, a lump came into his throat, and he felt that he had let his daughter be wronged so many years. Lin Momo directly turned away, wiping the tears in her eyes, and cursed that vanished man 100 times in her mind. Lin Ziyuan sighed and silently went back to his room, because he was afraid that he would cry if he stayed longer. "Papa, come with me, I want to show them I have a papa." The little guy didn't know the adult's mind. Once again she took Qin Haodong's hand. Calming down, Qin Haodong said, "Tang Tang, Dad can tell you that now kindergarten is over, and even your teachers are off duty. You also can't see your classmates. Dad will send you to school tomorrow morning, okay?" The little fellow thought about it and said, "Well, don't lie to me. You need to take me to kindergarten tomorrow morning, and we need to go early." "Don't worry, Dad, promise you." Chin Haodong hugged the little girl and said, "Tang Tang, by the way, I want to teach you that it's Dad, not Papa." "Yes, it's Papa. You're my Papa," the little girl seriously said. Chin Haodong felt awkward at her words. "Alright, Papa is better than Uncle anyway. Tang Tang, Dad also prepared a gift for you. Do you like it?" he said, holding a marrow, cleansing pill in his palm. This marrow, cleansing pill was crystal clear like a precious pearl, and looked extremely lovely with its pink color. "How beautiful. What's this, Papa?" "Glass ball." Picking up the marrow, cleansing pill with her plump little hand and not willing to put it down, Tang Tang asked. "It's a pill Dad specially prepared for you. You won't get sick anymore after you take it," Chin Haodong patiently explained. Lin Momo's face changed. As Chin Haodong had promised when he became the little guy's sworn father, he would ensure that she would not get sick all her life. She didn't expect him to start fulfilling his promise so soon. Looking at that beautiful marrow cleansing pill, she was curious. If she had not seen Chin Haodong's amazing medical skills, she would not dare to let the little girl eat this kind of unbranded product. But now she knew that it was absolutely a good thing which was hard to buy even with thousands of dollars. "Really? I hate sickness. It's very uncomfortable." The little girl took the medicine in her hand and showed a vexed look. "But Papa, I think it's so beautiful, I can't bear to eat it." "That's all right. Dad is Dr. Magic. I still have some pills here," Chin Haodong said, taking another marrow, cleansing pill from his pocket and giving it to Lin Momo. He laughed and said, "You have one too, Momo." "You? How can you talk in that way?" Lin Momo stared at Chin Haodong angrily and charmingly, but she still took the marrow, cleansing pill. Chin Haodong smiled and said, "Taking this pill will change your body, and you won't get sick anymore." "Can I eat now?" asked Lin Momo. "Sure, but marrow, cleansing pill will remove impurities from your body. You'd better go back to your room to eat and take a shower." Chin Haodong said, "You go back to take the pill, and I take Tang Tang to her room. After all, she is a little kid, I want to take care of her beside." "Well then, if there's anything you need, just call me back." Lin Momo then hurried back to her room. She knew that Chin Haodong would never boast about his medical skill. And she did not worry about giving Tang Tang to Chin Haodong. As a mother, she could clearly feel Chin Haodong's love for Tang Tang. It was the most sincere emotion from the bottom of his heart, without any impurities. Chin Haodong returned to Tang Tang's room with her in his arms. He put the little girl on her bed and said, "Tang Tang, do you want to be smarter?" "Of course, my teacher said that both Papa and Mommy like smart children. Dad will tell you a way to be smarter. Do you want to learn it?" "Yes, I want to be smarter." Chin Haodong saw the success of his induction and continued. "Later, your belly will feel a little hot, and then you should seriously think about it and follow the heat wherever it goes with your mind, okay? Can I be smart then?" the little girl asked in a cutesy voice with her big eyes wide open. "Of course. How could Dad lie to you? Bravo! Bravo! Papa, let's start." the little girl excitedly cried. Chin Haodong let the little girl eat the marrow, cleansing pill and then lie in her small bed with her eyes closed. He put his right hand on the girl's pubic region and injected a little bit of green wood genuine qi into it. What he just taught the little girl was not the game of becoming smart, but the Shentian Sutra from Empress Shen of Cultivation World. As the daughter of the Emperor Green Wood, the little girl would not be an ordinary person. Chin Haodong would take her to practice. After the green wood genuine qi was injected into the little girl's pubic region, Chin Haodong said, "Tang Tang, let's start. Pay attention to the heat on your belly. Then he began to use his green wood genuine chi to guide Tang Tang to practice Shantian Sutra according to its method. Tang Tang, however, did what Qin Haodong said wholeheartedly. She was very serious and cautious, fearing that she could not become smart if she was not careful. After 3 circles of practice, he not only established the basic practice line of the Shantian Sutra in Tang Tang's body, but also helped her assimilate the marrow, cleansing pill thoroughly. This absorption method was much better than direct swallowing of the pill. After the improvement, the meridians in the little girl's body were not only nearly 100 times wider than those of the ordinary people, but also very resilient. It would absolutely help her and make rapid progress in practice. Okay, you can get up, Tang Tang. Then Qin Haodong took back his right hand. The little girl jumped out of bed and asked with eager in her eyes, "Papa, I was very serious just now. Have I become smarter now?" Qin Haodong laughed and said, "Tang Tang, it is impossible for people to become very smart suddenly. You have only become a little smarter today. If you follow this method again tomorrow, you will be a little smarter again. After a long time, you will become the smartest child. So you must persevere in it." "Well, Papa, I will persevere," the little one said very seriously. "Well, now let's go to Mommy and let her give Tang Tang a bath." Then Qin Haodong took the little girl to Lin Momo's room. In the room, wrapped in a white bath towel, Lin Momo was standing in front of the mirror. When she returned to the room, she ate the marrow, cleansing pill at the first time, feeling warm and comfortable all over her body. After cleaning the impurities from her body, she felt so relaxed that it was indescribable how good she felt. Especially when she looked into the mirror, she was surprised to find that her skin was much better than before. Her skin was very good, white and full of water, and there was no any blemish on it. Even a small black mole on her arm had disappeared. Chapter 14. Call him Little Dong Dong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 14. Call him Little Dong Dong. Oh my God, what kind of a medicine is this? It's amazing. Looking at the peerless face in the mirror, Lin Momo suddenly opened the bath towel on her body and revealed a beautiful body in the air. She appreciated it. "Mommy, Mommy, I'm coming." At this moment, suddenly the door rang, and the little girl ran in from the outside, followed by Qin Haodong. When at home, in order to let Tang Tang come in and out easily, Lin Momo used to not lock the door, and the door was open that day as well. When the little girl appeared at the door with Qin Haodong, she was shocked for a moment, frozen like a clay sculpture, and she forgot to wrap her body with the towel. Qin Haodong was also frozen where he was. He went there in order to give Tang Tang to Lin Momo to take a shower and did not expect to see her naked. "Mommy, why are you naked? You're not shy at all," the little girl said, crossed her cheeks with her fingers and made a shy face. "What?" Lin Momo did not react until that moment. After letting out a scream, she quickly wrapped her body with the bath towel. "You! Why didn't you knock the door before coming in?" Lin Momo said to Qin Haodong, both shy and angry. "Oh! I came with Tang Tang. She didn't knock the door, and I just followed her." Qin Haodong then said awkwardly. "But you don't have to worry about it, Miss Lin. I haven't seen anything." He said those words to relax the embarrassed atmosphere and did not expect the little girl next to him to shout while applauding. "Papa is not a good boy. You're lying. Your eyes were wide open just now. How could you say that you didn't even see Mommy?" Ah! On hearing this, not only Qin Haodong but also Lin Momo felt embarrassed at the moment. The two people were really speechless to this innocent little girl, and the room fell into silence. Seeing that her papa and mommy remained silent, the little girl thought that two didn't believe her, so, she quickly added. "Mommy, I'm not lying. You can see that papa is still drooling over you." Then she made a look of thinking. "It's so weird. Mommy is not something delicious. Why does papa drool over her?" Suddenly, the little girl's look changed, and she said nervously to Chin Haodong, "Hey, Papa, Mommy is not a food. You should never eat her, or I'll have no mommy." "Well, eat her." Chin Haodong could not help but think about the scene in his mind that Tang Tang absolutely could never imagine. At this time, Lin Momo was wrapped in a bath towel, but her sexy collarbone and smooth shank were still exposed. She was half covered and half hidden, which made her more attractive. He hurriedly rubbed his nose with his hand, for fear of that there would be blood running out of it. He then fastly left Lin Momo's room. "Papa, don't run." The little girl called behind him, but Chin Haodong was too embarrassed to stay. "Mommy, why did Papa run away?" the little girl asked Lin Momo. "This. He may be hurried to go to the toilet." Lin Momo did not have any experience to deal with this kind of situation. She could only make up a reason and took the girl into the bathroom again. Chin Haodong returned to the living room, made himself a cup of tea and slowly tasted it. About half an hour later, Lin Momo came back to the living room with Tang Tang. Her wet hair, rosy cheeks, and white home clothes made her look extraordinarily beautiful and charming, and she no longer looked as cold as she was in the company. After dinner, Lin Momo said to Chin Haodong, "Dr. Chin, when will our treatment start today?" "What?" Chin Haodong was playing with the little girl, and after a moment of thinking, he finally recalled that he had to do Lin Momo massage. "We can start at any time," he answered. "Since you're also very busy, then let's get started now." Lin Momo wanted Chin Haodong to leave soon after the massage. After all, with such a man in her room, plus that Tang Tang kept calling them Papa and Mommy, she felt really weird. "That's good. Let's start now," Chin Haodong answered. "I want to do it too." "I want to do it too," Tang Tang cried. "What do you want?" Chin Haodong asked. "I want to do Mommy some massage and cure her illness." "Great. Let's treat your mother together." Chin Haodong took the little girl's hand and came to her room with Lin Momo. After Lin Momo lay down on the bed, Chin Haodong began to massage her from her head, and the little girl followed his method to massage Lin Momo's feet. Chin Haodong said that Lin Momo still needed follow-up treatment in order to get close to her, so, at this time, the massage he did was a health-care method. He used the greenwood genuine qi to recuperate her body. Lin Momo lay face down on the bed and felt the big and small hands on her body. She was a bit shy at the beginning, and later she had an inexplicable sense of happiness. If the three of them were really a family, it would be a wonderful thing, but the damn man had disappeared for so many years. She sighed secretly, but the feeling of disappointment quickly was overwhelmed by the feeling of comfort. Chin Haodong's massage skill was so good that she felt very comfortable. After a while, Chin Haodong sobbed. "Miss Lin, I've finished massaging your back, please turn over." The little girl suddenly chimed in. "Papa, you shouldn't talk to Mommy like this." "What should I say?" Chin Haodong looked at the little girl with interest. "I see on TV that children's papa always call their mommy dear or baby," the little girl said with a serious look. "Ah." Chin Haodong looked at Lin Momo and didn't know how to answer it. He did not mind calling her like that, but unfortunately, Lin Momo would not accept it. Lin Momo's cheeks turned red, and she said to the little girl, "Tang Tang, what you have seen on TV are not real, and it's all for the need of acting, so you can't take it seriously." "But, in our kindergarten, kids' papa don't call their mommies Mississippi," said the little girl. This. Lin Momo originally wanted to tell Tang Tang that she and Chin Haodong were different from other parents, but when she saw the little girl's eager look and knew that she just wanted to have a normal family and a couple of parents that loved her, she finally hesitated and said nothing. After a moment of hesitation, Lin Momo turned to Chin Haodong. "Dr. Chin, what about you call me Sister Lin from now on?" Before Chin Haodong could speak, Tang Tang said again, "No. No. He can't call you sister." Our teacher has said that close relatives can't get married. Moreover, Mommy, you can't call my papa Dr. Chin. It sounds estranged and not like a family. Chin Haodong was secretly delighted and thought that his daughter was so sensible that she knew what her father wanted to do. What do you think we should do? Anyway, we can't call each other like the couples on TV. Lin Momo said with annoyance. She did not know how to deal with this little girl. Tang Tang seriously thought for a moment about it and said, Mommy calls Papa Little Dong Dong, and Papa calls Mommy Little Momo. Then, we could sound like a family. Little Dong Dong. Lin Momo was embarrassed. She could not utter such an intimate name. No. No. This name does not work. She hurriedly rejected the little girl's proposal. But, it was you who let me think of a name. I did what you said but you won't listen, the little girl said and puckered her mouth with grievance, and it seemed that she was about to cry soon. Don't cry, Tang Tang. Papa will think of a way to solve it. Chin Haodong appeased the little girl and turned back to Lin Momo. What about you call me Haodong and I call you Momo from today? Looking at the little girl who was about to cry beside, Lin Momo nodded helplessly. Well, let's do what you said. Chin Haodong looked at the little girl and asked. Tang Tang, is that okay? Yes, it makes us like a family. The little girl immediately changed her look of despair and jumped up again happily. Since the matter was solved, Chin Haodong continued to give Lin Momo massage. This time, Lin Momo lay face up on the bed. Her delicate face and tempting figure made Chin Haodong feel hot in the heart. He hurriedly swallowed a few times. If Tang Tang saw him drool over Lin Momo again, he would be very embarrassed. O.org There were many taboos to do massage on one's face side than on the back side. Chin Haodong controlled his hands with great willpower and avoided to touch her sensitive parts as much as possible. Dad, you are not careful in massaging, you haven't massaged here. The little girl patted Lin Momo's chest. I want to but your mom won't allow me to. Chin Haodong thought to himself. Papa, press here. It feels so good. I always put my hands here when I sleep at night. When the little girl finished her words, Lin Momo's face was almost as red as blood. She could not wait to turn her body over and hide her face. It was too embarrassing. However, Chin Haodong showed a look of envy. It will be so good if I can do it as Tang Tang when I sleep at night. Lin Momo wanted to give up the treatment of massage, but, afraid that it would affect her recovery, she said to the little girl helplessly, Tang Tang, go to find your grandfather to play with him for a while, will you? The little girl answered, I don't want to play with Grandpa, I want to do you massage to cure your illness with Papa. It seemed that if Tang Tang did not leave, the massage treatment would not go well. Chin Haodong bowed down to whisper in Tang Tang's ear, and then, the little girl said happily, okay. Okay. I'm going to play with Grandpa, and you have to hurry up, Papa and Mommy. After saying this, the little girl ran out of the room and shut the door. Okay, let's start treatment. Chin Haodong continued to massage Lin Momo as he finished his words. Lin Momo was very curious about what Chin Haodong had said to the little girl, so, she asked, what did you say to Tang Tang? Nothing, just some casual words. Impossible. Tell me what you said to her. Lin Momo had a bad feeling in the heart. If Chin Haodong really just said something casual, Tang Tang would not have left so quickly. Are you sure you want to listen? Chin Haodong asked with a meaningful expression on his face. Chapter 15. Neighbors, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 15. Neighbors, of course I need to know. I told Tang Tang to play with her grandfather first, and I would discuss with her mom when to have a little brother for her. Lin Momo could hardly describe her feeling at this moment. She had just known Chin Haodong for less than 2 days, but she had been shy more than ever. Her unemotional image as an iceberg was completely destroyed. How can you talk to a child like that? If I didn't say that, Tang Tang would not have left. How could I continue to treat you without her leaving me? But you can't cheat a kid, can you? Lin Momo said with shame and anger. Do you mean we should really have a baby brother for Tang Tang? Qin Haodong laughed. What? Lin Momo was so bashful that she stopped talking to Qin Haodong and closed her eyes directly, but her heart was beating violently. Finally, after the massage, Qin Haodong and Lin Momo walked out of the room and returned to the living room. While playing game with the little fellow, Lin Ziyuan glanced at Lin Momo and Qin Haodong with strange eyes. Seeing them, the little fellow immediately ran over and asked happily, Papa, Mama, have you worked out the result? When will you have little brother for me? With cheeks blushed again, Lin Momo gave Qin Haodong a vicious look. I have discussed with your mom, and we agreed that we don't need a little brother since Tang Tang is so cute. Qin Haodong could only give the little fellow a made-up reason. But I still want a little brother. The little fellow looked like she would never let go unless she got her way. Tang Tang, let's talk about the little brother later. Papa's going back. Qin Haodong looked up and said to Lin Ziyuan and Lin Momo, it's late, I'm going back. Before Lin Ziyuan and Lin Momo could speak, the little fellow cried out, where are you going, Papa? I'll go home today and play with Tang Tang tomorrow, okay? Qin Haodong asked. Not okay. Not okay. You liar. The little fellow burst into tears at once. Tang Tang, Papa didn't lie to you. I'm sure I'll come to take you to the kindergarten tomorrow. No. It's not like this. All the children in the kindergarten live with their parents. You are my papa now. Why do you still have to go? The more she cried, the more sad she became. If Papa doesn't live with Mama and me, what shall I say to my friends tomorrow? They would say I'm bragging and keep calling me a wild child. Qin Haodong turned his head to Lin Momo. This problem could only be solved by her mother. Lin Momo crouched down and comforted the little fellow, Tang Tang, Papa still has something to do. Let him go for the moment, will you? Tomorrow I'm sure he will send Tang Tang to the kindergarten early in the morning. No. No. I just want to sleep with my Papa and Mama. I don't want to be a child without Papa. The little fellow kept crying. Lin Momo didn't know what to do. She turned to Lin Ziyuan for help. I'm old, I need to go to bed early. You guys have fun, I'm going to bed. Lin Ziyuan ignored his daughter's appealing eyes and turned back to his room, but there was a slight smile on the corner of his mouth. Lin Momo's marriage had been his worry over the years. She had long ago reached the age of marriage, but she was as unemotional as ice, taking no man in the eye. Today, he was surprised to find that Lin Momo had changed a lot since Qin Haodong appeared, which made him very happy. Qin Haodong was absolutely worthy of Lin family with such excellent medical skill. The most rare thing was that he was very close to Tang Tang. So Lin Ziyuan was more than willing to see his daughter find the happiness belonging to her. Seeing Dad running away, Lin Momo looked at the weeping little beauty with pain. Finally she said, okay, don't cry, Tang Tang, Papa and Mama will sleep with you tonight. Not only today, but forever. I will always be a kid with a Papa. Said the little fellow. Okay, you are Mama's boss. Lin Momo had no choice. Goody, goody, I can finally sleep with Papa and Mama. Seeing Lin Momo promised, the little fellow immediately broke into laughter, holding Qin Haodong in one hand and Lin Momo in the other, happily walking toward the bedroom. The bed was so big that it was not crowded at all for the three people lying side by side. Lin Momo's heart beat so hard because it was the first time she was lying in bed with a man since that night. Tang Tang, Mama has done as you said, go to bed quickly. Lin Momo intended to make the little fellow fall asleep early so that Qin Haodong could leave early. No, no, I want Papa and Mama to sleep with me. Aren't Papa and Mama sleeping with you? Lin Momo said. No. Not exactly. Mama has to wear pajamas when sleeping, just the one you wear every day. The little fellow's words made Qin Haodong's heart tremble. He wondered what she would look like when she put on pajamas. He could not help thinking of the scene where Lin Momo was just wrapped in a bath towel. Ah! Lin Momo hesitated a little. Her nightdress was very sexy. She didn't feel anything in front of the little fellow at ordinary times, but how embarrassing it would be in front of Qin Haodong. Tang Tang, today is different. Did Papa wear pajamas? She had no choice but to use Qin Haodong as a shield. Qin Haodong was depressed at her words. At that time the door rang twice and was pushed open. Lin Ziyuan appeared at the door with a paper bag in his hand. Little Qin, I know you certainly didn't bring any clothes. This is a new set of pajamas I bought. It hasn't been used yet. You should use it. He put the paper bag on the floor of the doorway, then turned around and left, with the door closed. The little fellow immediately got up from the bed and went to the door to grab the paper bag and deliver it to Qin Haodong. Papa, put on your pajamas. Okay, thank you Tang Tang. Qin Haodong took the paper bag and went into the cloakroom next to him. After putting on pajamas, he came back. Looking at Qin Haodong in his pajamas, Lin Momo was speechless for a while, thinking that her old father was making trouble. Not only did he not help her out of the siege but also he smashed her shield. Mama, it's your turn. The little fellow pulled Lin Momo and said. Looking at the expectant daughter, Lin Momo could only sigh helplessly. She got up and went into the cloakroom, and soon came out in a pink nightdress. This nightdress is a brace's skirt. The snow-white skin on her chest emitted attractive color under the light. The skirt was so short that it could barely cover her underwear. The sight which was partly hidden and partly visible made Qin Haodong fall into imagination. Seeing Qin Haodong staring at her, a trace of red clouds rose on Lin Momo's face. She rushed to bed and covered her body with the quilt. Tang Tang, are you satisfied now? Go to bed quickly. Lin Momo said to the little fellow. No, we still have to do this. Then the little fellow grabbed Lin Momo's hand on the left, Qin Haodong's hand on the right, and put their hands together on her own chest, with her two small hands on top. Only then did she close her eyes with ease. Feeling the temperature of Qin Haodong's big hand, Lin Momo was flushed and her heart beat again. She wanted to take back her hand but was afraid to wake up the little fellow. She could only let Qin Haodong hold her hand. As time passed by minutes and seconds, a strange feeling slowly came into her. She even vaguely expected time to stop at this moment, never to pass. Over the years, she had thought about finding another relationship, but she feared that Tang Tang would have a rough time. Therefore, she had been forcibly controlling her emotions and disguising herself with her cold appearance. But at this moment, she faintly hoped to be with the man she had just known for 2 days forever. What's going on? Did she begin to fall for him? BDNV soon Lin Momo dispelled her inner thoughts. Impossible. No way. She was 3 or 4 years older than he was, and she had a child. It was impossible for them to be together. Qin Haodong, lying on the other side of the bed, was trapped in a very beautiful memory. He was very satisfied with the present situation where he could quietly guard the 2 most important women in his life. It took a long time for Lin Momo to wake up to reality. She slowly pulled her hand back. Dr. Qin, it's late. You'd better go back. I promised Tang Tang that I would sleep here tonight. Is it okay to deceive a child? Qin Haodong said cheekily because he really didn't want to leave. I'll talk with Tang Tang. It's not appropriate for us to be together like this. Lin Momo said, and her voice became cold. But it's so late and I don't have a place to go, Qin Haodong said. Although Mr. Lin gave me the key to my villa, I don't know where the Jiangnan Ruhua district is. Would you let me stay for one night and I'll be back tomorrow? With a sense of strangeness flashed through the face, Lin Momo said, it's simple. Here is the Jiangnan Ruhua district. We live in villa number 5, villa number 6 is next door. You can go back now. Qin Haodong was shocked that he should be a neighbor with Lin family, which was beyond his imagination. Momo, what if Tang Tang wakes up and can't see me? Qin Haodong was still reluctant to part with the warm family atmosphere at this moment. You can rest assured of that. Tang Tang will not wake up all night as long as she falls asleep. You can come to breakfast early tomorrow morning. All right then, see you tomorrow morning. From Lin Momo's resolute attitude, he knew he couldn't be too hasty. Today he had made great progress with the help of the little fellow, so it was better to stop before going too far. He left the Lin family and went to Villa 6 next door. He took out the key and opened the door. The structure and decoration of this villa were basically the same as Lin family. The rooms were equipped with all kinds of household appliances and daily necessities. Qin Haodong took a bath in the bathroom and went back to his room to sleep. The next day he came to Lin's house early, when the little fellow had just got up from his bed. After a night, Qin Haodong was able to feel the sense of Shen Sutra from the body of the little fellow. The reason why he chose to pass this set of skills of Empress Shen to her daughter was that it could run on its own once the cycle of cultivation had formed, which meant cultivation could happen at any time and any place. That was to say, the little fellow did not need to practice deliberately, but her cultivation would always keep improving. Papa, where have you been? Asked the little fellow. Qin Haodong took a look at Lin Momo next to him. Papa went to exercise. The little fellow said, Papa, finish your meal quickly. You're going to take me to kindergarten earlier today. I want all the children to know that I also have a papa. Chapter 16. The Nayland Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 16. The Nayland Family. After the breakfast, Qin Haodong and Lin Momo went out to take Tang Tang to her kindergarten. The kindergarten Tang Tang studied in was named Gold Branch and Jade Leaf, the kindergarten of the highest level in Jiangnan City. The children studied there were as noble as the school's name. Every one of them was either of a rich family or of a royal family, for a normal family could not afford the fee. Tang Tang did not hurry to enter her classroom when they arrived at the school, and instead, she waited at the gate, holding Qin Haodong's hand. Look, Zhang Daodu, this is my papa. Wang Meng Meng, I have papa, I have papa. Li Qiqi, I have papa, so, don't call me wild child anymore. Looking at Tang Tang's childish and serious face, Qin Haodong and Lin Momo were filled with a sad feeling. Zhao Lele, look, this is my papa. Tang Tang said to the child who held a lady's hand. Wow, it's real. Your papa looks so handsome, even more handsome than my papa. The little girl stared at Qin Haodong while saying. Yes, my papa looks so cool. He is the best. Tang Tang said with a proud face. Zhao Lele's mother was named Xiao Lily. She glanced at Qin Haodong, and there was a glint of jealousy in her eyes. She then said, Tang Tang's mom, I heard that you raised Tang Tang alone. It's really hard for you, but, is this gentleman really Tang Tang's father? On hearing her words, Tang Tang and Lele all stared at Lin Momo, waiting for her answer. Lin Momo saw the expectation on her daughter's eyes, and she hesitated for a little while before answering, he is Qin Haodong, and it's true that he is Tang Tang's father. If he is Tang Tang's father, why his first name is Qin? Isn't he your new boyfriend? A cold smile appeared on the corner of Xiao Lily's mouth. Though she did not know Lin Momo, she could tell that she was a rich woman from her dress and manner. Therefore, she took it granted that Qin Haodong was Lin Momo's toy boy, who looked so handsome and made her envy. This Lin Momo could not find a word to answer, for she never considered this matter. This is because I followed my mother's first name and my father's first name is Tang, so, I gave the name to my daughter. Is there any problem with that, madam? Qin Haodong said while glaring at Xiao Lili. No, of course not. I have nothing to do with who Tang Tang's father is, just that there are so many children who don't know their father. I was afraid that Tang Tang might make a mistake. Xiao Lili wore a sarcastic expression. Obviously, she did not believe Qin Haodong's words. A flicker of anger crossed Qin Haodong's face. He was a humorous, cynical man and sometimes liked to prank on others, but his woman and daughter were never to be offended or sneered in front of him. Never. Moreover, the loquacious woman was obviously trying to making trouble. She carried smells of 2 men, which meant she had slept with 2 men last night. The woman was so shameless to sneer at others. You're right. You should mind your own business only. Qin Haodong pointed at Xiao Lili's pants and continued, why your pants get wet? Did you pee in it? What? What are you saying? The woman looked down and found her fashion low-rise jeans wet in many places. What happened? Did I really wet my pants myself? How could it be possible? Xiao Lili could not understand. She might have a casual sexual relationship and got some gynecological diseases, but she absolutely had no urinary incontinence. How could she suddenly wet her pants? Lele, your mom is smelly. Tang Tang covered her nose with her hands and hid behind Qin Haodong. Xiao Lili screamed and gave her child to the teacher of the kindergarten before running away. A weird look came over Lin Momo's face. She did not see how Qin Haodong made it, but she knew Qin Haodong had something to do with it. Looking at the tall and strong figure in front of her, she was filled with a warm feeling. She had dreamed many times that a man would stand before her and her daughter when they were bullied. Xiao Lili's embarrassed look made Tang Tang laugh out. Papa, why this aunt wetted her pants? Qin Haodong put on a meaningful smile and answered, I don't know. Maybe she drank too much water. After that, he stayed at the gate of the kindergarten for a while and did not leave Tang Tang to the teacher until most of the students came to the school. After waving goodbye to Tang Tang, Lin Momo said to Qin Haodong, have you just played a trick on that woman? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Although he knew Lin Momo was talking about Xiao Lili, he'd better pretend not to know it. Don't pretend to be innocent. I know it must be you. After saying this, Lin Momo bit her sexy lips and continued, thank you. Qin Haodong understood the meaning behind those 2 words. He said seriously, from today on, with me here, no one can treat you and Tang Tang rough. Looking at the handsome and determined face, Lin Momo had an impulse to run into Qin Haodong's arms, but she finally suppressed the feeling. She lowered her head and adjusted her bang while calming herself down. She then asked, where are you heading for? I can ask my driver to give you a ride. No, thanks. There will be someone to pick me up very soon. He had to treat the disease of Nailan Jia that day and had made an appointment to meet Nailan Wushuang at the gate of the kindergarten on the call. Just as his words fell, roars of the motor came to them, which were followed by a black Audi A6. As the window of the car rolled down, a stunning face appeared before their eyes. Nailan Wushuang called out, get in, you big liar. Qin Haodong was wordless. Why did you call me a big liar? Have I cheated on you out of your money or your beauty? My wife may misunderstand your words, okay? However, she still said hello to her and sat down on the co-pilot seat of the car. Who is this woman? What's the relationship between them? Seeing Qin Haodong's fading back, Lin Momo was upset. Maybe they are made for one another. I'm just a mother of a child. Thinking of this, she got into her car with Zhang Debiao and headed for her company. At the same time, Xiao Lili changed her wetted pants and took a medical examination in Jiangnan Hospital. The result was just as she had thought. She had no urinary incontinence apart from some gynecological diseases which were caused by her overindulged life. What's going on? Why I lost control of urination at that time. Xiao Lili recalled what had happened from the beginning to the end and suddenly came to a conclusion. That toy boy must have something to do with this. He played a trick on me. Though she did not see how Qin Haodong did that, she believed that Qin Haodong had something to do with it. Bastard, how dared you to play a trick on me? Wait for me, I'll make you pay for it. Why is that woman more beautiful than me? Why she could have a toy boy? Why that little girl is lovelier than my daughter? How could all those happen? Xiao Lili was a jealous woman, plus that she was in a great rage, she almost lost her mind. Thinking of those things, she took out her mobile phone and called her husband. Honey, I was bullied. You must take revenge for me. Naylan Wushuang did not drive her Hummer out that day, and instead, she drove her old Audi A6, which was cheaper than Hummer but was more useful with a special license tag of Jiangnan Army on it and a pass paper attached to its window. She could drive this car to every place in Jiangnan City and even in the whole Jiangnan province without anybody stopping her. Who is Naylan Jie? It seems that he is powerful in the army. Naylan Wushuang's Audi A6 aroused Qin Haodong's curiosity. He took out his mobile phone from his pocket and started trying to search this name on internet. Reading the results, Qin Haodong was surprised. Naylan Jie indeed had a powerful background. According to the information on the internet, Naylan Jie had made many military achievements during the war between their country and M country and therefore became the youngest general of that time. He even had received commendation from the first president of their dynasty. In the later war with Annan country, he was one of the most important generals that fought at the front line and was known as the brave workaholic among the army. The information on various forums showed that although Naylan Jie no longer served in the army, his power was still with him and his background had to be shocking. More than that, Naylan Jie's children were all outstanding people. Some of them had high positions in the army while some of them were new stars in government. In view of their descent and background, the Naylan family was indeed the top family in Jiangnan province. Naylan Wushuang remained a deadpan after Qin Haodong got into the car. Obviously, she was still angry about the things that happened the day before. She was concentrated on driving her Audi A6 and keeping it speeding up, which gave her a feeling that she was driving a sports car. She thought that seeing her driving skills, even though Qin Haodong would not pee in his pants, he would be frightened. However, Qin Haodong was absorbed in playing with his phone and did not notice how fast they driving. Hey, what are you doing? Naylan Wushuang could not help but ask him and lowered the speed of the car. After all, it took much energy to drive so fast in the urban area. Nothing. I'm watching a very popular female streamer on the internet. Vulgar. Naylan Wushuang turned up the whites of her eyes at Qin Haodong and asked, what were you doing in the kindergarten? What can an adult go to the kindergarten for? Of course, they are taking their children to school. What? Are you married? Qin Haodong's answer was beyond Naylan Wushuang's expectation. Her hands shivered, due to which they almost hit a big truck coming in the opposite direction. Luckily, Qin Haodong had sharp eyes and acted so fast to control the steering wheel, which saved their lives. What were you doing? Why were you so excited? Qin Haodong said with a smile before continuing, good news for you, I'm still single and you still have chance to be my girlfriend. When he was talking, his hands were still on the wheel, beneath which were Naylan Wushuang's white and soft hands. Take your dirty hands off me. Naylan Wushuang also realized that she overreacted. Her face turned flushed, and she shook off Qin Haodong's hands. It has nothing to do with me whether you're married or not. She paused for a while and continued asking, since you're not married, why do you have a kid? Qin Haodong answered with a smile, who tells you that one must get married before having a child? Can't I be unmarried while having a child? You. Nalan Wushuang was both angry and amused. She asked again, "Who is the lady that stood beside you just now? She looks so pretty." She was always proud and never took other women seriously. However, the woman she just saw was so different with elegant manner and beautiful face that even she could not help but take more glances on her. Qin Haodong explained to her. "She is my kid's mother." Chapter 17. An innocent victim. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 17. An innocent victim. You're such a liar. Nalan Wushuang said with anger. "Why did you say that? I am such an honest guy, and I can guarantee you that all I said was true." Qin Haodong said with grievance. "Then how old are you?" 21. How old is the kid you mentioned? 4. So you've been in relationship for 5 years? No, we met each other only 2 days ago. You're just talking nonsense, you as asterisk 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 dot. Nalan Wushuang would have kicked the slick guy out of the car if she weren't driving. How could the guy be so serious while making up all those stories? I am not talking nonsense, I am telling you the truth. Qin Haodong said innocently. You. In anger, Nalan Wushuang closed her mouth because she knew she would totally lose it if she didn't stop talking to him. The Audi A6 darted out of the city and finally pulled over at the gate, a big yard. The yard, with large brick walls and houses with fancy tiles, was the special sanatorium set by in Jiangnan military force. It was said that all the residents here are military leaders above divisional commander level. Nalan Wushuang parked the car and led Qin Haodong into the yard. Qin Haodong checked out the sanatorium while he was walking. It was a nice place with much more spiritual qi around than the urban area, making it the best place for recuperation. Few steps later, a young man in his 20s ran into them at a sudden. The man had a large silk box in his hand, and judging by the fancy clothes wrapping him all over, he must be rich. Shuang, why didn't you answer my calls?" The young man ran to Nalan and smiled flatteringly. "Zhang Daji, I told you not to harass me if you have nothing important." Nalan Wushuang said with resentment. "Yes, I do have something important," said Zhang Daji, who was apparently afraid of Nalan Wushuang. He raised the silk box in his hands and said, "I heard that you're looking for 1,000-year ginseng for your grandpa. I happen to have a friend who runs herb business. I asked him for help, and this is the best Korean ginseng he found for me. I heard it was 100-year one, so I bring it here to give it to your grandpa as a gift." After he said that, he opened the box with a flattered smile. There was a snow-white Korean ginseng lying inside. At first, Qin Haodong didn't care about Zhang Daji at all, because he found him no more than another admirer of Nalan Wushuang, and it seemed that she hardly had any interest in him. But by the time when he saw the Korean ginseng, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. What a nice ginseng it is! The Korean ginseng and his blood ginseng would make up the 2 main ingredients of his foundation core. This good stuff has to be mine. Qin Haodong had every reason to be desired, because the 600 or 700-year old Korean ginseng was giving out very thick spiritual qi. It was a nice gift, only to be sent here at the wrong time. He sighed for Zhang Daji in his mind because he knew it must have taken him a lot of efforts to find such an old-aged Korean ginseng. Nalan Wushuang would have treated him in a totally different way if he was here 2 days earlier, but now, she wouldn't even bother to look. Nalan Wushuang barely took a look at the Korean ginseng in the box. She stared at Zhang Daji, and said, "I don't need it, just take it away." Well. Zhang Daji was confused. He took it as the best chance to flatter Nalan Wushuang when he heard that she was looking for 1,000-year ginseng. He had used all his social connections to find the ginseng, and it cost him more than 10 million yuan to take it out of Korea. He did all this to win the beauty's laugh. Nalan Wushuang didn't smile at all, instead, she was becoming colder and colder to him. Shuang, don't be so impulsive. This Korean ginseng will help cure your grandpa. I said I don't need it. Nalan Wushuang interrupted Zhang Daji before he could finish. She knew the better the ginseng was, the more harm it would do to his grandpa. So now she didn't bear any good feeling toward Zhang Daji at all. She also knew that if she didn't make it clear to Zhang Daji, he would keep harassing him. She then pulled Qin Haodong and said, "My family has already invited Dr. Qin for grandpa. You can keep your hands away from this." Zhang Daji took a look at Qin Haodong, and said to the angry Nalan Wushuang, "He must be one of the gigolos of yours, how could he be a doctor?" "Watch your mouth, Zhang Daji," said Nalan Wushuang, a quick-tempered one who had already lost her patience. She asked with a cold face, "How does it have anything to do with you even if he was a gigolo of mine?" Qin Haodong felt awkward. He was such an innocent victim, because he was here just to cure. Now for no reason, he had become the idiot's rival in love, and had been demeaned to be a gigolo. You can get hurt by just walking in the streets. Shuang, how can you not know my feelings for you after such a long time? We'll make a perfect couple. What's good in this gigolo? He was too pale and tender to look like a real man. I think he may be gay. Enough. Before he could finish it, Nalan yelled in anger, "Zhang Daji, shut your hole. You." Zhang Daji was so angry that his eyes were glaring, but he was too afraid to flare up in front of Nalan Wushuang. The reason he pursued Nalan Wushuang was partly her beauty and partly her powerful family, but all in all, he feared Miss Nalan because she was so quick-tempered. He couldn't afford to irritate Nalan Wushuang, but at least he could irritate Qin Haodong. "Stay away from Shuang, you gigolo boy. Or you wouldn't have known how you died." Seeing the idiot getting more and more ignorant, Qin Haodong felt annoyed, so he said coldly, "Get out of here." "What? How dare you speak to me like that? I'll disable you for your tongue." Zhang Daji jumped at Qin Haodong while he was speaking. Nalan Wushuang then moved and blocked in front of Qin Haodong. She said in anger, "What are you doing, Zhang Daji? He's a guest of my family. Now get out of here while I still act in manners." She had been suppressing the anger inside. She would have already punched Zhang Daji if their father weren't good friends. Seeing that Nalan Wushuang was nearly rampaging, Zhang took a few steps backward. He certainly knew how capable the woman could be. He might have learned taekwondo for a few years, but he was no match for her. If the fights broke out, he would be slaughtered. But he still didn't give up. He pointed to Qin Haodong and yelling, "Gigolo boy! No man would hide behind a woman. I dare you to come forward and have a man-to-man fight with me." He thought Qin Haodong was a coward gigolo who wouldn't dare to answer his challenge. The moment Qin Haodong quailed, quick-temper Nalan Wushuang would favor him. Qin Haodong had a flash of wit. He was just considering how he could get the ginseng for himself, and now the idiot came to send it by himself. He lifted his hand and pushed Nalan Wushuang aside. Then he smiled and said to Zhang Daji, "You want to fight? I bet you will. No, hide behind a woman if you are a real man." He was so confident because he had been learning wushu since he was young. He knew he was definitely no match for Nalan Yen, but he believed to beat the gigolo before him would be simple enough. "Why wouldn't I dare?" Qin Haodong answered, "But I am not fighting just because you want me to. How about we make a gamble?" "What do you want to gamble for?" Zhang Daji asked. "Then ginseng in your hand, and if I beat you, you'll give it to me. Are you in?" "Well." Zhang Daji was hesitating. He did not expect Qin Haodong to make the gamble on his ginseng, which was worth 10 million. "What? Are you quailing? Weren't you the real man here just now?" said Qin Haodong. Then he held Nalan Wushuang's slender waist in his arm. He had to have the Korean ginseng, so he was using Nalan Wushuang to irritate Zhang Daji. Nalan Wushuang flushed, but for the unknown reason, she didn't dodge, she let him hold her. Seeing his loved woman being so intimate with another man, Zhang Daji went outrageous and yelled. Let's do it. But how about if you lose? If I lose, you can do whatever you want. Qin Haodong didn't care because there was no way he could lose when facing such an idiot. Zhang Daji said wickedly, if you lose, I'll break your legs. And you'll have to stay away from Shuang forever. Zhang Daji, you've crossed the line. Nalan Wushuang yelled. Really? I'll say I am the one suffering loss because the ginseng is worth 10 million, and all he has are his legs. Qin Haodong stopped Nalan Wushuang before she was going to continue. He was right. The gamble was fair enough for me. I'll gamble my 2 legs for his 10 million. Are you sure this is going to work? Zhang Daji has learned Taekwondo. Nalan Wushuang whispered to Qin Haodong. She only knew that Qin Haodong's medical skills were extraordinary, but she did not know how his fighting skills were. Don't worry, he's just an idiot. Qin Haodong said and pulled Nalan Wushuang aside, then he faced Zhang Daji by himself. Zhang Daji's lungs were nearly exploding because of the anger when he saw his loved woman was so intimate with Qin Haodong. His feet moved and kicked straightly on Qin Haodong's temple. Messing up with my woman. I'll blow your head today. As his left foot got closer and closer to Qin Haodong's head, cold but proud smile emerged at Zhang Daji's mouth corner. But before he finished laughing, he felt like a train had run into his chest, and his ribs were almost crushed by the power. He flew backward like a cloth bag, then fell heavily on the ground. It's mine. Qin Haodong ran over happily after he kicked Zhang Daji away, picking up the silk box in his hand. Nalan Wushuang was shocked inside seeing Qin Haodong defeated Zhang Daji so easily, because it wouldn't be such an easy job even if she did it by herself. What kind of freak was he? His medical skill was amazing, so was his fighting skills. You bastard, how could you play tricks on me? As stupid as Zhang Daji might be, he could figure out that Qin Haodong had set him up. He struggled to pick himself up from the ground, but he failed after trying several times. The kick was heavy enough, but Qin Haodong had pulled his feet a little for the sake of the Korean ginseng, or Zhang Daji would be disabled for the rest of his life. Qin Haodong held the ginseng, smiled and said, that's not right. It was you that initiate the fight, and how could I play trick on you for that? People have to pay for their arrogance. Gigolo boy. Just wait for me, this is not over yet. Zhang Daji shouted as his face was twisted. You want to mess up with me? Fine, but next time I won't show any mercy except you send me ginseng as good as this one. Surely, Qin Haodong couldn't care less about the threat from such a weak person. At the same time, several guards of the military area ran over here. They noticed Zhang Daji lying on the ground, and asked Nalan Wushuang, Miss Nalan, what has happened here? Nalan Wushuang waved her hand, and said, it's not your concern, just go and do what you have to do. Chapter 18. Nalan Wufeng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 18. Nalan Wufeng. Zhang Daji finally picked himself up from the ground after the guards left. He glared at Qin Haodong with grudge and said, how dare you hit me? Do you know who I am? Qin Haodong didn't say anything. But he had disdain at his mouth corner. He had no interest in Zhang Daji's family background at all. No matter how noble Zhang Daji was, he would be no stronger than an ant in the eyes of Emperor Greenwood. Zhang Daji thought that Qin Haodong was afraid, so he continued, you messed up with the Zhangs. Just wait to get wiped out from Jiangnan City. Nalan Wushuang looked sharp, and she said, Zhang Daji, Dr. Qin is an honored guest of my family. If you keep being so rude to him, your father won't be able to protect you. Humph. It was true that Zhang Daji wasn't courageous enough to face the Nalans. He humphed and glared at Qin Haodong with his vicious eyes, then he left resentfully. Nalan Wushuang thought Qin Haodong was scared by Zhang Daji when she saw him silent. So she tried to comfort him, Dr. Qin, don't be afraid. Just tell us if Zhang Daji comes to make you trouble, my family wouldn't let him go easily. Afraid? Qin Haodong shook his head in disdain. He smiled and said, no one in the world could scare me. I am just curious, how could a grumpy woman like you have admirers? You. Nalan Wushuang stamped heavily on the ground, then she turned over and walked forward. Soon, the two arrived at a broad yard which was much more heavily guarded than other places, thus it could be seen how the Nalans was respected in the military area. Behind the gate was the yard in which there were a Mercedes-Benz bus and 5 luxury cars. Each of those cars was worth millions. The most eye-catching one was a brand-new black sports car. It looked beautiful and aggressive. The most amazing part was that the car had not been painted, and it had original patterns of carbon fiber all over, looking both luxurious and quaint. God, this is Lamborghini Centenario. Nalan Wushuang's mouth was widely opened because of surprise. She walked fast to the black sports. She felt the car with her hands, eyes filled with admiration. Qin Haodong was not a luxury car fan, so he rubbed his jaw and asked, is it expensive? Nalan Wushuang explained while she was admiring the car, it's more than expensive. It's a new edition designed to commemorate the 100th birthday of the company's founder. The car is worth more than 40 million and there were only 40 of them were produced in total. It's so expensive. Qin Haodong was still shocked by the price even though he wasn't interested in luxury cars at all. It was worth more than the Korean ginseng in his hand. Nalan Wushuang said, it's expensive, but it's worth the price. The car can accelerate from 0 to 100 km per hour in 2.8 seconds, and the highest speed could reach 350 km per hour. It has a braking distance of 30 m. She was such a fan of sports cars that she couldn't even stop talking. Qin Haodong said, let's go to visit your grandpa. Then Nalan Wushuang realized Qin Haodong was invited here to treat Nalan Jie. So she took a few pictures of the Lamborghini Centenario with her phone, and left unwillingly, then she introduced Qin Haodong inside. In the big hall, Nalan Jie was wearing his cozy practice uniform, sitting on the broad leather couch. A young man in his 20s was bending before him. Behind the young man, a tall and bearded foreigner was standing, and he looked quite proud. He had 7 or 8 people around him which might be his assistants, all with medical equipment and tools in their hands. Grandpa, this is Dr. James, the most famous expert in chest and lung of the World Medical Association in M country. I invited him here to diagnose you. The young man was talking to Nalan Jie respectfully. He's the grandson of Nalan Jie, Nalan Wufeng. Nalan Jie had 4 sons. The eldest son, Nalan Hongfei, was a politician in the central government of Jiangnan province, the second son, Nalan Hongxiang, and the third one, Nalan Hongjun, had taken their own positions in the army, and the youngest one, Nalan Hongyi, ran a business worth trillions. Nalan Wufeng was son of Nalan Hongxiang, and also the eldest grandson in the family. But he had neither learning or skills. He did nothing but drinking, eating and playing every day. So Nalan Jie didn't like him. However, as discursive as he was, he knew his grandpa's position in the family, and he knew he should try everything to flatter him. That was why he spent so much inviting Dr. James from M country to cure his grandpa's disease. Forget it, my disease is out of his capacity. I've already had Dr. Qin here, just let Dr. James go back. Said Nalan Jie. With the financial resources of the Nalans, they had invited numerous famous doctors these years, but all of them were at the end of their wits when facing Nalan Jie's disease. He had lost his patience on those so-called experts. Nalan Wufeng felt nervous upon hearing he said that. He explained in a hurry. Grandpa, Dr. James is not an ordinary one. He is the core member of the World Medical Association. I used a lot of connection to invite him here. He is way better than those ordinary doctors, just let him treat you, please. It had cost him countless efforts and money to invite James to Huaxiao. He promised $1 million for the consultation. He wouldn't let his efforts lead to no end, so he shot a glance to Wang Dawei, a health doctor standing behind Nailan Jie. Wang Dawei read the glance and bent to whisper to Nailan Jie, Dr. James was indeed famous. I've read lots of his papers on journals, and he specialized in treating lung disease. Just let him try, or you'll let Wufeng down. Nailan Jie considered for a while and said, well, I'll let him try just because he's already here. But let him do it faster, don't make me delay Dr. Qin's diagnose. Seeing the old man agreed, Nailan Wufeng's face was lightened up. He turned over and said, Dr. James, please. James nodded with pride, then he waved his hand. His assistants prepared all the instruments and were going to examine Nailan Jie. Those foreigners were getting busy. Nailan Wufeng went to Wang Dawei and whispered, Brother Wang, who is the Dr. Qin grandpa talked about. Nailan Wufeng felt curious by the second time Nailan Jie mentioned Dr. Qin, because he had never seen his grandpa trust and respect a doctor so much. I haven't met him either. Miss Wushuang went to pick him up. I heard he was a Chinese medicine practitioner. Yesterday he let master bathed in herbs for 12 hours. Traditional Chinese medicine. Does it really work? Nailan Wufeng looked disdainful. He had been sent out of the country to be educated in the West since he was 10, and he was back to Huaxia just years ago. It's natural that he had no good impression of Chinese medicine. When Qin Haodong and Nailan entered the house, they saw James and his assistants working busily around Nailan Jie. Nailan Wushuang halted for a second because she couldn't recall any plan involving other doctors coming to treat her grandpa. What are those foreigners doing here? What's happening? She was going to ask but was stopped by Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong took Nailan Wushuang to the corner, because he wanted to see how Western medicine would treat meridian infarction. All the attention in the house had been caught by Nailan Jie, and no one had noticed the two had entered. Indeed, James' team was very effective, and a large stack of medical data was sent to him soon. He checked the text result page by page. Nailan Wufeng went towards and asked, Mr. James, how's my grandpa doing? It's really bad. His lung cells are largely necrosis. The bearded foreigner opened his mouth and spoke fluent Chinese language. It sounds rough but most part of it could be understood. Qin Haodong slightly frowned. So the Western medicine practitioner took the meridian's infarction parts as necrosis ones. What should we do? Can it be cured? Nailan Wufeng asked. The World Medical Association holds the world's most advanced medical technology, and I am the best chest and lung specialist in the medical association. Although this disease is a bit more complicated, it's still curable. James said with a proud face. That would be great, thanks, Dr. James. Nailan Wufeng's face was brimmed with joy. If the doctor he found cured Nailan Jie, his position in the family would soon be promoted, much better than the awkward position he was in now. Dr. James, what's the therapeutic plan? Surgery. Surgery is the best way to treat him. The necrotic parts have to be removed to prevent the lesion from expanding further. James explained to Nailan Wufeng. Just contact with the best hospital in Huaxia. I'll perform the surgery, and the chance of success is over 95%. Nailan Wushuang couldn't stand it anymore. She stepped forward and asked, lungs are nothing like appendix. How could it be removed so easily? It will cause major damage to my grandfather. See Nailan Wushuang appearing. Nailan Wufeng smiled, and asked, Wushuang, when did you arrive? Although he was the eldest grandson of the family, his position was inferior to Nailan Wushuang's because the grandpa favored her. Nailan Wushuang glared at him and asked, what kind of doctor you have in here? And he's removing grandpa's lungs. Before Nailan Wufeng could speak, James said, my beautiful lady, you don't know about medical knowledge at all. Everyone has 5 pulmonary lobes, and it would do little harm if 2 or 3 of them are removed. Just take some rest and take good care. BL.net, moreover, his condition is so serious that he would have 3 to 6 more months to live if we don't perform the surgery in time. Nayland Wufeng added, that's right, Wushuang. Dr. James is the best in the world, so will be his plan. Boo asterisk 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 it, said Nayland Jie, who had been irritated. He sat on the bed and asked, no major damage. Can I still practice wushu with half of my lungs? I am afraid you can't. You have to get rest after the surgery, no strenuous exercise, said James. And how much more time do I have if I chose your therapeutic plan? Said Qin Haodong, who was walking out of the corner. Chapter 19. You are a quack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 19. You are a quack. Although James did not know who the young man was, he answered, if let me do the operation, I could maintain at least 2 to 3 years life span for him. Qin Haodong looked at him and sneered, what a joke. You leave such great harm to the patient, removing half of the lung lobes and only keeping his life for another 2 to 3 years. How dare you claim to be the best thoracic and pulmonary doctor in the world? Who gave you the courage? I would say you are totally a quack. James got suddenly furious and his face turned red. It was the first time for years that one dared to call him a quack doctor. He stormed to Qin Haodong, who are you? Do you know anything about medicine? In consideration of the patient's current condition, what I have put forward was the best treatment plan. No one else can treat him at all. I am the best thoracic and pulmonary doctor in the world, a world-recognized expert. Nayland Wufeng also asked coldly, who are you? How did you get in? Is this a place where you get a say? Where are the guards? Get him out of here. Shut up. Nayland Jie said angrily, this is Dr. Qin, I invited him. Dr. Qin. Nayland Wufeng looked at Qin Haodong for a moment. His expression became even more disdainful. Shouldn't all traditional Chinese medicine doctors have white eyebrows and shining white long beards? How could there be such a young doctor? Grandpa, have you been deceived? How could he be a doctor? Shut up or get out. Don't talk nonsense here. Nayland Jie angrily scolded Nayland Wufeng. Yesterday, according to Qin Haodong's suggestion, he had taken a 12-hour medicated bath, and he felt much better than before. He even had a good sleep last night. He naturally believed in Qin Haodong more than the bearded man who proposed to remove half lung lobes of him. Seeing the old man was really angry, Nayland Wufeng ducked and dared not speak anymore. But James was not afraid of Nayland Jie. He said to Qin Haodong, no way. You can't be a doctor. I don't think you've graduated since you are so young. How can you be a doctor? Qin Haodong said, I am a traditional Chinese medical doctor. In traditional Chinese medical science, we stress on medical skill instead of age and seniority. Traditional Chinese medical science. Ha. 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 Doctor of Chinese medical science. Hearing this, James laughed heartily. Even his sprays from coughs covered his beard. He laughed and turned to his assistants, did you hear that? This is really the funniest joke in the world. Never expect a doctor of Chinese medicine can come out to treat the disease. Qin Haodong frowned and said in a cold voice, why, is it funny? Funny. Of course, it's funny. James said, go to the World Medical Association and ask about traditional Chinese medical science. Everyone knows that is deceptive, it's totally superstitious witchcraft. No one believes that traditional Chinese medical science can cure diseases. If you don't believe in traditional Chinese medical science, you are ignorant. Qin Haodong turned around and pointed to Nayland Jie and said, if I use traditional Chinese medicine to treat Mr. Nalangji's disease, we will not only have not to cut off the lungs, but also can make him recover completely. What's more, at least I can extend a 10-year lifespan for him. I just heard one of the funniest jokes in the world, and now here comes the biggest boast. Is that called chui niu in your Chinese language? I've heard that you Chinese like to brag, but today I finally see it. As James shook his head and spoke Chui Nyo in his stiff Chinese, which sounded extremely harsh, his assistants laughed again. Qin Haodong buttonholed Nalan Wushuang, who was about to lose her temper, and said to James coldly, "Since you don't believe in traditional Chinese medical science, let's make a bet." "Bet, Oki. How do you want to bet?" James was famous for his arrogance in the World Medical Association, and at this time he did not take Qin Haodong seriously. "Just bet on Mr. Nalan's disease. I can say that I could cure him in half an hour." "No way, it's absolutely impossible. His disease is impossible to cure even in half a year, let alone half an hour. Traditional Chinese medicine can't cure diseases at all. Why can't you Chinese change your boasting habit?" James shook his head and the disbelief spread over his face. Qin Haodong said coldly, "Just answer me, dare you to bet or not?" "Of course. Why not? Go ahead, what do you want to bet on?" "This Korean ginseng is worth 10 million yuan. If you win, you can take it away. Otherwise, you shall kneel down and take me as your teacher in public. Meanwhile, you should apologize to traditional Chinese medical science on the world-famous press." James glanced at the ginseng in the big red brocade box. Although he was a doctor trained in Western medical science, he also was aware that the ginseng was absolutely first class and very valuable. "Are you sure you want to bet with me on this?" James said incredulously. In his opinion, he was sure to win the bet. He does not understand why the Chinese people played for such a high stake. "Sure, today I will let you ignorant people see what is called traditional Chinese medical science." "Well, I agree with all the terms you said, but don't renege when you lose." Although Qin Haodong's terms would make him lose face and were a bit harsh, James immediately accepted the bet, because he never thought he would lose. He had seen the medical examination report of Nalan Jie just now. He believed even God could not completely cure him. Then Qin Haodong didn't talk to the foreigner anymore, but turned his head to Nalan Wushuang. "Now I'm going to treat Mr. Nalan. Use your mobile phone to make a video, in case of this foreigner's disavowal." Nalan Wushuang nodded, and took out her mobile phone to record a video. Qin Haodong let Nalan Jie get up and sit down on a stool. He first took Nalan Jie's pulse to make sure that the cold qi in his body had been cleared through the medicated bath, and then took out a marrow, cleansing pill for the old man to eat. After all, Nalan Jie's meridians were blocked for a long time. As his martial cultivation attribute was cold, his meridians had been eroded by cold qi for a long time. It was quite fragile. If Qin Haodong forcibly unblocked the meridians, it was very easy to cause a rupture of meridians. This marrow, cleansing pill could increase the tenacity and strength of his meridians. After doing all this, Qin Haodong took out the needle bag and quickly stabbed 40 or 50 silver needles in Nalan Jie's chest. With the efficacy of the marrow, cleansing pill, he began to dredge the blocked meridians of the lungs. Nalan Jie had been injured for a long time. With the serious congestion of his meridians, Qin Haodong did not dare to treat him in high intensity, so the treatment was time-consuming and laborious. About 20 minutes later, fine beads of sweat began to ooze from his forehead. Suddenly, Qin Haodong raised his hand and clapped it on Nalan Jie's back. Nalan Jie opened his mouth and spat a mouthful of black blood. The black blood smelled terrible immediately after it fell to the ground, and if you looked carefully, there were some black lumps in the blood. Nalan Wufeng had been watching nervously beside him. Seeing Qin Haodong clapped on Nalan Jie and made him spit blood, he immediately cried, "What's the matter? How do you treat? Why did my grandpa spit blood? If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense. If he didn't spit out the extravasated blood, can he recover?" Qin Haodong raised his hand and took back all the silver needles on Nalan Jie's chest. Then he turned to James and said, "I've finished my treatment. It's time for you to keep your wager." "What? No way. I suspect that your casual treatment has aggravated the patient's condition. It's just a mess. I have never seen a treatment like this. If you are in our country, you are guilty of hurting people by needling them like this, you should be arrested and put into prison. James looked excited and his beard shook as he spoke. He lived in his 40s, and never saw a doctor treat his patient by touching wrist, pricking needles, and finally making patient spit blood. In his opinion, this was not a cure at all, but a tomfoolery. The old man is healed. What else do you doubt? During the conversation, Nayland Jie stood up suddenly, with his face bright and energetic. Qin Haodong not only dredged the meridians of his lungs, but also cleaned his body by marrow, cleansing pill. At this time, the physiological function of the old man at least had got 20 years younger. He never felt so good. Nayland Jie turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Thank you, little magic doctor. Thank you so much." Nayland Wushuang and Nayland Wufeng were struck dumb, gaping but speechless. In just 20 minutes, Grandpa was like another person. It's incredible. James shouted. No. No. You are a group. You are acting. You Chinese not only like to brag, but also like acting. I know, it's a two-man act. You are all prepared beforehand, I won't be fooled. Qin Haodong looked at him and smiled. He had expected that the foreigner would not believe his treatment. He said, "You can use the equipment to test it. Will the instrument you bring deceive you? Okay, I will expose your lies and show the whole world how traditional Chinese medical science deceives people." James began to direct his assistant and gave Nayland Jie a second physical examination. Nayland Jie also wanted to know how he had recovered, so he cooperated with the examination. Soon a medical examination report was sent to James. My God, what happened? James looked at the results of the examination and his hands began to tremble. Nayland Jie's 2 lung lobes, which had cell necrosis, were now recovered, showing no sign of illness at all. What's more, the body's test data were much better than the results just now. Even a normal young man did not have a physical quality like this. If he had not brought the equipment from Country M, if he hadn't personally tested Nayland Jie, if he hadn't kept the results half an hour ago in his hands, he would never believe this. Qin Haodong laughed and said, "Mr. James. Don't tell me that your machine is also playing a two-man act. God, this is a miracle. It's like magic." James held the test result in his hand, but still couldn't believe it was true. If it is magic, it is also the magic of traditional Chinese medical science, and it has nothing to do with your God. Qin Haodong said with a cold expression, "Don't talk nonsense. Keep your bet wager." As soon as he spoke, everyone's eyes were focused on James' bearded face. If he followed the previous bet, he would kneel down to Tang Long and kowtow to his teacher, and apologize to traditional Chinese medical science in a world-renowned media. But James was a well-known medical expert of the World Medical Association. He had flaunted his superiority just now. Can he bow his arrogant head to this young man now? Don't be so excessive, Qin Haodong. Nayland Wufeng shouted. Mr. James is a foreign friend from M country. He just played a joke on you. Chapter 20. Prick me with needles. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 20. Prick me with needles. Qin Haodong smiled coldly. Do you think we are in the former dynasty? Foreigners are superior to Chinese people. In my eyes, there is only bet, no joke. Whether Chinese or people of M country, if they lose, they should keep the wager. Nayland Wufeng cried. No way, Mr. James is an expert of the World Medical Association. How could he kneel down to you and formally acknowledge you as his teacher? Expert. Do you think he can be an expert in front of me? In my opinion, his medical skills are worthless. Nayland Wufeng still wanted to say something, but James suddenly knelt down in front of Qin Haodong and excitedly said, Teacher, you're right. In front of the magic of traditional Chinese medical science, my medical skills are nothing. I want to ask you as my teacher, I want to learn the magic of traditional Chinese medical science from you. Then, he put his palms together and began to kowtow. Come on. What's going on? Qin Haodong was also somewhat confused by James's sudden change. Shouldn't this bearded foreigner deny his bet to save his face? Shouldn't he feel wronged even if he keeps his wager? Why he looked like that he had picked up a treasure now. Besides, what is he doing? It's not like he is kowtowing to a teacher but like bowing to the Buddha with his palms putting together devoutly. They didn't know where James had learned how to kowtow. He bowed to Qin Haodong and kowtowed 3 times. Although he was arrogant in his daily life, he had a real capability, and he was really obsessed with medical skill. Today, when he saw the magical medical skills of Qin Haodong, he was completely convinced, so he immediately knelt and kowtowed to acknowledge Qin Haodong as his teacher willingly. Master, please accept me. I want to learn magical traditional Chinese medical science. I want to learn medical skills from you. James said with an earnest look. Qin Haodong was embarrassed. The plot should not be like this. The reason why he bet to let James kneel and kowtow to acknowledge he as the teacher was to save the face of the declining traditional Chinese medical science, but he never thought to teach this foreigner medical skills. Now as James was asking him to be his teacher, Qin Haodong still didn't know what to do for a while. Seeing Qin Haodong didn't reply, James said eagerly, Teacher, I really want to learn medical skills from you. You can rest assured that I can bear hardships. Come on. Prick me with needles, I'm sure I can bear it. What is going on? Qin Haodong felt that 10,000 South American alpacas ran through his heart and were frisked. This foreigner's words are so weird that he said that in a way that implicates burning candle wax and other tools. Am I that kind of person? Others were also stunned on the spot. Especially Naylan Wufeng, who wanted to help James find a way to deny the bet, was astonished to fall his eyes to the ground. He didn't expect that the foreigner was emulative to kneel down and acknowledge Qin Haodong as his teacher. Stand up. Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, I'll take you a registered student first, but if you want to learn Chinese medicine, you must first learn Chinese well. When you learn the Chinese language well, then come to me to learn medical skills. The reason why Qin Haodong just proposed to take James as his student was to borrow his fame to improve the status of traditional Chinese medical science. He knew that traditional Chinese medical science was declining, and he wanted to improve its fame and status. Now the authority of the World Medical Association acknowledged a Chinese doctor as his teacher, which would inevitably cause a great sensation in the medical community. Teacher, my wife is a Chinese. We talk in Chinese in everyday life. So my Chinese is very good. I can learn now. James stood up from the ground, but still looked eager. Well. Qin Haodong realized that no wonder the bearded foreigner spoke Chinese well. He had married a Chinese woman. Do you know what is yin, yang? What are the 5 elements? What kind of sheep is yin, yang? Is it a special species of China? James asked with a dull face. Obviously, he could only use daily Chinese language and knew nothing about Chinese culture. Go back and learn Chinese from your wife. When you understand yin, yang and 5 elements, you can learn traditional Chinese medical science. Don't forget your promise, said Qin Haodong seriously. Go back and apologize quickly to traditional Chinese medical science in a world-class media. Teacher, when I learn Chinese well and find out what yin, yang is, I will come to you to learn traditional Chinese medical science. James' original arrogance had disappeared. At this time, he said respectfully, Teacher, you can rest assured that I will fulfill my promise as soon as I return to M country. We must let more people realize what traditional Chinese medical science is and let them know the magic of it. Then, he turned to Naylan Wufeng and said, Mr. Naylan, send me back quickly. I'm going to find those who slander traditional Chinese medical science to square accounts. It's damn they should call such magic medical science a cheat. Naylan Wufeng was depressed for a while. He did not expect that the world-famous expert he had paid a lot of money for had not cured his grandpa's illness, but had become Qin Haodong's student. But things what happened couldn't be changed. He took out a car key with a Lamborghini logo and said to Nayland Jia, "Grandpa, I sent Mr. James home. It's my Wuxia sister's birthday a few days later. I bought a car for her as a gift. Let me put it in your place first." Nayland Wushuang now realized that the Lamborghini was a birthday gift for her cousin Nayland Wuxia, the daughter of their uncle Nayland Hongfei. He must want to curry favor with his uncle by giving such a valuable gift. Then Nayland Wufeng put the car key on the tea table next to him, and then left with the James and his assistants. After they left, Nayland Jia asked even the healthcare nurses and security guards out, and again respectfully said, "Young magic doctor, you saved my life, and from now on you are we Nayland family's great benefactor." "Never mind." Qin Haodong nodded slightly and said, "The blocked meridians in your lungs have been dredged, but don't practice cultivation skill anymore. The attribute cultivation skill of your family is cold. If you practice further, it will continue to hurt this part of meridians." Nayland Jia's face changed. He had practiced this cultivation skill for many years. He had reached the realm of small success. It was really unwilling to give up. Whoever once been accustomed to possessing power beyond ordinary people, he would be painful when he lost it all of a sudden. Qin Haodong looked at Nayland Wushuang and said, "There is indeed something wrong with your family's inner cultivation skill. You should not practice it anymore, or you will never be a mother in your life." Nayland Wushuang's look changed. She was infatuated with martial arts since childhood, so she pestered her grandpa to teach her how to practice this skill, but as a woman, she also didn't want to lose the right to be a mother. Nayland Jia said eagerly, "Young magic doctor, I know you are a very capable person, can you consider ways of that? We Nayland family shall never forget your great kindness." Although Nayland Wushuang didn't speak, she also looked eagerly at Qin Haodong. "Well." Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment. He felt that Nayland Jia and his granddaughter were really good people. He said, "Well, let me have a look at your cultivation skill." Seeing that Qin Haodong promised to help, Nayland Jia immediately sat cross-legged and began to practice the Nayland family's cultivation skill with a happy expression. About half an hour later, Nayland Jia had run his genuine qi for a circle. Qin Haodong basically looked through where the problem was. No wonder this cultivation skill could do so much harm to the human body, it had too many weak points. "Well, stop," he said to Nayland Jia, "your family's cultivation skill is defective." Nayland Jia said, "There are indeed defects, our ancestors have mentioned that, but it is very rare to have a set of inner cultivation skill, we didn't consider so much. Because of this, when our Nayland family's descendants did not like to practice martial arts, I did not force them. Only Wushuang and Wuxia, two girls, liked to play with spears and sticks from their childhood, and asked me to teach them. So I gave this cultivation skill to them." Qin Haodong said, "Well, I just saw a total of 18 defects in your family's skill. I'll help you revise them, and then when you practice them, there will be no problem." "What? You want to modify the cultivation skill of our Nayland family? Who are you? Are you a master of martial arts?" Nayland Wushuang said with an unconvinced expression. Although she knew that Qin Haodong's medical skill was amazing, it was not a medical practice to modify the cultivation skill. All that could create the cultivation skill were masters in their generations. Although the skill of Nayland family was not so good and there were some defects, but it could not be changed by anyone who said he could. Moreover, the inner cultivation skill was very important. A little carelessness would lead to irreparable damage, which was related to the practicer's life. Qin Haodong smiled. He was one of the 5 emperors in the cultivation world. His knowledge was far beyond ordinary people's imagination. It was as simple as drinking water to revise such a low-level version of cultivation skill. However, this kind of thing depended on fate. If the Nayland family trusted him, he would give directions to them. If they did not believe him, it would be all right. Anyway, he just cured Nalan Jia and repaid the 100-year-old blood ginseng. Because of this, he did not speak, but looked at Nalan Jia silently. Nalan Jia hesitated for a moment, and quickly said, "Please take the trouble to help us." Seeing that the old man had chosen to believe in himself so quickly, Qin Haodong nodded slightly in his heart. Nalan Jia was deserved to be called the head of Nalan's family, he was knowledgeable and decisive. Nalan Wushuang said anxiously, "Grandpa, how do we do this? What if he makes a mess of it?" Nalan Jia smiled freely. "There's nothing to be afraid of. I was given this life by this little magic doctor, and I won't lose even if I throw it away again. Besides, I believe that the little magic doctor can certainly create miracles." Then, he turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Little magic doctor, would you please help me this old man to get through this, the whole Nalan family will have a great reward for you." Qin Haodong was less solemn than them too. He said lightly, "Re-cultivate it, and change the route of cultivation according to what I said." Nalan Jia sat cross-legged again and began to practice his family's cultivation skill. A moment later, Qin Haodong said, "Run your genuine qi from the Jinmen acupoint to gallbladder meridian and make a detour on 7 Qinyangjiao acupoint." This way of running genuine qi was quite different from that of the Nalan family. However, since he chose to believe in Qin Haodong, Nalanji did not hesitate to change the route of genuine qi. Quickly, he realized that Qin Haodong was right. After changing the route, the old sense of cold and gloomy did not rise from his dantian. On the contrary, he felt very comfortable. This change made Nalan Jia more confident in Qin Haodong, and he changed his route of the rest 17 defects completely according to Qin Haodong's instructions. After running a large circle of vital energy, he ran twice in accordance with the new line again. He felt not only the qi of cold and gloomy disappeared, but also the genuine qi became more and more thick and pure. Suddenly, there was a click inside him. He had broken through.